हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ So namaste everyone. Last time we covered up to page 47, and just to browse through some of the subject headers, we I think began at 39. So we saw how to choose a guru, and the Mundaka Upanishad talks about the qualifications of a Brahma Shrotriya Nishtha. So this is one topic we went over. Then we saw that the guru preferably as a renunciate, and here it talks about some of the duties of a sannyasi. And of course, the guru also has to have nishtha in the teaching and has to live the teaching as evident in his values and his acharan. Here it talks about the Gītā as a dialogue, and then we saw the 4 types of dialogue. So Vadaha, Samvadaha, Vitandaha, and Jalpa. And Pujya Swamiji talks about that. Then we saw the importance of an open inquiring mind, which is Shraddha, faith pending understanding, as Pujya Swamiji puts it. And then we see that the Gita is a dialogue between the teacher and the student. And of course, one has to give the benefit of the doubt to the teacher in case there appears to be any contradiction in what we understand in what the teacher is explaining. So one has to set that aside as a question that one poses towards the end. Then it talks about the 2 types of subject matters, and we briefly actually even spoke about this in yesterday's Mananam session. So you have Sadhya Vishaya, something that can be sought out, and Siddha Vishaya, something that is already accomplished, something that's already yours. But it's this ignorance that is shrouding this reality. Then we talked about the choicelessness in knowledge. So we have a choice for our actions, but in knowledge there is no choice because knowledge is an established fact. It's something one just needs to remove the ignorance of the Viprita Bhavana. The significance of questioning, and now we begin with the commentaries on the Gita. So, Ishwar Uncle, would you like to start reading from here?
Prashant, you're referring to the commentaries on the Gita, right?
Yes, from this header onwards.
Yeah, I have the book with me, so I'm reading it from my book.
Okay.
Commentaries on the Gita. Shankara says that he is writing this commentary on the Gita so that people could analyze and understand what the true meaning of the Gita Shastra is, although it had already been so elaborately commented upon by others. These earlier commentaries, no matter how definitive they were, sometimes differed from one another, and in some cases were even opposed to each other. Since these various works were confusing to those who did not have a clear understanding of the Shastra, Shankara decided to undertake this work in order to clarify what the Gita is actually saying. Since Shankara's time, there have been numerous commentaries and translations in various languages with varying degrees of clarity. None has matched Shankara's analysis of the Gita. His commentary is extremely cogent and consistent from the beginning to the end. For instance, whenever the topic of bhakti comes up, he discusses it in its proper context. Whenever Ishvara is mentioned, even though Lord Krishna uses the first person singular, Shankara makes it very clear that what was meant was the Lord, Ishvara, Paramatma. When the Gita is analyzed properly, the analysis must be rational. It should not go against reason. A commentary on the Gita should be in keeping with the words that are there. It should honor all the rules of grammar and syntax. What was said before and what is said later should also be taken into account.
Okay. Is there anything that we can discuss over here? It's pretty straightforward in the sense that Shankaracharya is, he was a great, one can say that he was a writer, one can say that he was a bhakta. He wrote many works of bhakti. Every temple that he went to, he would write something for the presiding deity over there. But what Shankara is most well known as is as a bhashyakar, as a commentator. And his apart from his Prakarana Granthas, he's most well known for his commentaries on the Prasthanatraya, which is the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gītā, and the Brahma Sutra, especially the Brahma Sutra. And his clarity is unprecedented. He really encoded all the wisdom that we have in our ancient tradition and made it relevant to us through his commentaries.
If I have to bring up a question, and this is just to keep the discussion alive, how different is Sri Shankara's commentaries from other commentaries? Where does it differ?
Other commentaries within the parampara, or from like different schools of thoughts?
No. In this paragraph, it says there were other commentaries before Sri Shankara's time. These earlier commentaries, no matter how definitive they were, sometimes differed, right?
Yes.
It says there. So my question, just to keep the conversation alive, is how does Sri Shankara's commentaries differ from the previous ones?
I have not read either of the commentaries yet, so I don't feel qualified.
Because there's a commentary that's purely based on Krishna as a real entity that's completely outside of, right? So as a personal god. And then there are commentaries that has Vishishtadvaita tinge. And then there is, so Sri Shankara's commentary is purely from not just an Advaitic, but it takes you from a level of where Sri Krishna talks about Dehi, and never skips the point that the absolute, I don't know what to call it, Brahman, the absolute is what is talked about and is the only subject matter from the start to the finish. So that's what he says whenever the first person singular comes, Aham.
Yes.
So Aham is not translated to Sri Krishna. Aham is translated to Aham only. In all other commentaries, the Aham is translated to something else.
I see. That's why you have all these ISKCONic interpretations, like the Supreme Godhead and Sri Krishna is the only real savior.
Correct.
I see.
When you say Ahamatma Gudakesha, that Aham is the Aham only. That's not two, right?
Right.
So that is kept alive throughout. And Sri Shankara doesn't comment for the first chapter at all. He starts from second chapter, verse 10.
11.
Yeah, 11.
I see. Yes, that's really interesting to know, actually. And was this also the case with Sampradayik Acharyas within the same parampara, like Gauda Padacharya and his gurus and so on?
Right. One of my favorite commentaries is Gudartha Deepika, which is by Swami Madhusudana Saraswati, who incidentally also happens to be the composer of the Gītā Dhyana Shlokas.
I see. And that's also within the same parampara?
Correct. It's based on Sri Shankaracharya's commentary, but Sri Shankaracharya's commentary is a bit tough for beginners.
I see.
Gudartha Deepika simplifies it, but also it's very nice to read from a bhakti standpoint also.
I see.
I would recommend it even just as a casual, for now I won't say casual reading, but just as a reading, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'll try to get a copy from the Gītā Press if they have it.
Yeah, back to you.
Yeah. What would be the title of such a commentary, Sundarji?
It's called Gudartha Deepika.
Gudartha Deepika, okay.
Yeah. Swami Madhusudana Saraswati. He is from 16th or 17th century. I'll type it out in the window.
Oh, thank you. So would you recommend, are there any commentaries or pravachans given by Swami Paramathanandaji on his talks on Gudartha Deepika?
I'm not sure about Gudartha Deepika, but his commentaries on the Gītā itself is, I've listened to it many times. So it opens up your, like I used to think I read everything.
Yeah.
Until I actually heard his commentaries.
I see.
So once you hear his commentaries, and this is not just my Guru Bhakti speaking, but once you hear his commentaries, I've never gone back to any other commentaries. My search pretty much ended there.
Oh, wonderful.
So back to you.
Who's number? Kamalji, can you lead today? Maybe we can come back to Kamalji. Smitaji, how about you?
Yeah, but I can't see the text.
Yeah, now you can see.
Yeah. So
Okay.
should I do the need for inquiry? I start from there.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Since the Gita is a book that contains only what is said in the Upanishads, this is all the more reason for any commentary on it to be reasonable. Nothing should contradict the source book. Our understanding of the Gita should be definitely in keeping with all these various factors. Only then can there be real understanding. Whether the Gita says this or that is something that must be understood. We are not trying to make the Gita say what we want to say. We are trying to understand what it says, and for this we need to inquire and be objective. This is why, before approaching the Gita, a few verses called the Gita Dhyanam are sung in praise of it, whereby we invoke the Mother Gita to reveal the truth contained in the Gita Shastra. These verses are a prayer to the Gita itself, to the Gita as the Mother Shruti, and to Gita as Bhagwan, the Lord. It is only after we have invoked the Gita in this way do we try to extract the exact meaning of what the Gita has to say. The Gita is like a mirror, just as the Upanishads are a mirror of words, wherein we can see ourselves very clearly. If the world is not separate from me, and if Ishvara also is not separate from me, then I should be able to see this truth in the words of the Gita. The prayer is for the sake of understanding the Gita properly, which is understanding myself. In the brief discussion of the Gita Dhyanam verses that follow, you will come across sentences requiring further elucidation and more clarity in order for you to enjoy their meaning completely. This clarity will come as the Gita is unfolded.
Very nice. So we'll play the Gita Dhyana Shloka, and here we have Pujya Swamiji chanting it himself. So I'm just going to display the screen, and we can just read it along, because everybody chants it. I think it might just get confusing. So let's just listen. I have this.
पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन तां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्तिकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् भीष्मद्रोणतटः जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवति कृपेण वहनि कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकर दुर्योधनावर्तिनि तोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलम् गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरम् हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पीयमानम् मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजम् कलिमलम् प्रध्वंसिन श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः कुर्वन्ति वेदैः साङ्गमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति मघाः पश्यन्ति यस्मान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः.
Start reading this one requests like not speaking background as a
Prashantji, your words are breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Much better.
Much better now.
I see. Yeah, I was just request that whoever has your microphones on, like, please, like, just mute it when you're not speaking, because all the background disturbance from your place, wherever you are, like, enters the recording. So just you know, if you can become more familiar with the microphone button, mute on and off. Okay, so this is the first verse. Sorry, Sundarji has to go, I guess. Sundarji, yes, please go ahead. The explanation of the first verse.
Sorry, I was speaking on mute.
Oh,
So this is the actual verse itself and the word by word meaning. How do we do?
I feel there's a translation of the verse rather than the word by word meaning,
Okay.
and then there's a commentary on that.
Yes. Okay. Good. So we'll start. Om Parthaya pratibodhitam bhagavata narayanena swayam vyasena gratitam purana munina madhye mahabharatam advaitamrutavarshinim bhagavati ashtadashadhyayinim ambatvamanusandhadhami bhagavad-gīte bhavadveshinim. Om. O Goddess Mother, O Bhagavad Gita, you who were taught by Bhagavan Narayana himself for the sake of Arjuna, the son of Pratha, that is Kunti, you who were faithfully collected and reported by the ancient sage Vyasa and placed in the middle of Mahabharata, you who are in 18 chapters, you who have the nature of showering the nectar of non-duality, who is the destroyer of the life of becoming samsara, again and again I invoke you. An auspicious beginning. Any beginning is considered to be auspicious. Since the word Om is the name of Bhagavan, the Lord, it is an auspicious way to begin these verses, in which we invoke the Lord's help as we begin to study the Gita. Shall I continue?
Yeah, I think maybe we can do like one verse each.
Okay. The Gita is invoked as mother. A mother is symbol of love. A mother is a symbol of love, affection, and spontaneous care. Is someone who always prays for your welfare, who never lets you down when you are in trouble. This is also true of the Vedas, because with great compassion, the Vedas take into account the need for human being to achieve various things in life, and talks about various means and ends for one who can achieve them. And finally, through self-knowledge in the Upanishad, gets the person out of the pursuit of means and ends. Therefore, the Vedas or the Shruti is given the status of mother. And because the Gita says exactly what the Vedas say, it is also looked upon as the mother. In this opening verse, the Gita is invoked in this way. O mother, I invoke you. I meditate upon you again and again as a mother of blessing. For whose sake is the Gita taught? The Gita is taught to Arjuna. He is called Partha in this verse because he is the son of Pritha. Pritha is another name of his mother Kunti. Because the Gita was taught for Arjuna's sake, Arjuna is said to be the cause or nimitta. The teacher of the Gita. The knowledge contained in the Gita was taught by the Lord or Bhagavan Narayana. It was not taught by any other guru, but directly by Narayana. Even though every guru is considered to be Narayana, this verse makes it clear that the all-knowing Lord himself, as Krishna, was the teacher of the Gita. Now, the meaning of Narayana. There are many ways of looking at the meaning of the word Narayana. One which is particularly relevant here. The word Nara is used to refer to human being. It also means indestructible, that which always remains, not destroyed. Na riyate iti naraha. Nara therefore can only refer to that which pervades everything and is timeless. Atma in Sanskrit. Atma refers to I, the essence of the subject who performs various actions and enjoys various forms of experience. This is an entirely different meaning from what we commonly understand by the word I. Therefore, the real meaning of the word Nara, human being, is understood to be from the Shastra, to be all-pervasive, timeless Atma, or the Paramatma. Narasya idam naram. That which belongs to Nara is Nara, or Jagat, or the world. The world is born out of the all-pervasive, timeless Paramatma and is sustained by the Paramatma and goes back to the Paramatma. Nara then is the entire world. And Naram eti iti Narayana. One who knows this Nara is Narayana, the omniscient Lord, Parameshwara. Therefore, the same Atma, the Nara Atma, the human being, is the omniscient Paramatma, Parameshwara, the Lord. Because this omniscient Narayana is the one who is teaching Arjuna here, everything that is taught in the Gita is considered valid. Very important. I'll read it again. Because Narayana is the one who is teaching Arjuna here, everything that is taught in the Gita is considered valid. Narayana is the one who knows everything and is also the one to be known through Vedanta. Now, Vyasa as a reporter. How do we know about the Lord's teaching to Arjuna without Vyasa? Any gospel is a report of a disciple, and therefore its accuracy depends on the disciple. If the disciple is adept, he or she will report it properly. If the disciple has limitations, then there will be a problem with the report. In the Gita, the reporter is very important. Narayana taught and Arjuna heard. But it was Vyasa who reported it all. The reporter here is not an ordinary person, as we shall see in the later verse. Vyasa is the one who is capable of elaborating a brief statement into 1000 verses, complete with intricate details and cogent arguments. Vyasa is described here as Purana Muni, an ancient sage. A Muni, a Manana Shila, is a person who is capable of bestowing careful thought over a particular subject matter. The word Purana can also mean the ancient legends based on the teachings found in the Vedas. Vyasa gathered these legends together and remaining fruitful to the Vedic vision, or I should say faithful to the Vedic vision, put them into writing called Puranas. Therefore, he is referred to the Purana Muni. Because the subject that is being taught in the Gita, it was also known to him, Vyasa has no problem with reporting it properly. Where did Vyasa report what was being taught by the Lord to Arjuna? He presented it in the middle of the epic of Mahabharata in the Gita in 18 chapters. The subject matter of the Gita.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, right, skip. Please go ahead.
The subject matter of the Gita. What is the subject matter of the Gita? What did Narayana teach Arjuna? What was taught is described as a shower of amrita or nectar. Nectar generally comes only in drops, but in the Gita, nectar is showered upon us. What kind of nectar is it? All nectars are sweet to taste, but do not last forever. The nectar that is showered by the Gita is different. Not only does it provide happiness here, but it also showers us with the amrita of Advaita or non-duality. Here the word amrita is used in a sense that which gives you immortality. Here the knowledge frees you from mortality in the form of life and death. In non-duality, there is no second thing. Therefore, with this knowledge, all fear is eliminated. Only in duality can there be fear. Fear cannot exist in non-duality because there is no second thing to fear. The nectar of non-duality. That you are everything, that there is nothing other than you, is not an ordinary subject matter. That is what is meant by non-duality. Non-duality means that you are the whole. That which gives you this vision is the nectar of non-duality. Nectar is used here because just as nectar is something that's to be tasted, to be experienced, non-duality is something to be understood by yourself. The goddess Gita showers the nectar of non-duality upon you. The shower of nectar is the vision of non-duality. It is the message of the Lord. The Gita is Bhagavati, the goddess, and therefore cannot be separate from Bhagavan's vision. She knows that Krishna is Ishvara, the Lord, and along with him, she blesses you because she gives you this knowledge. The 18 chapters of Gita. In this verse, the Gita is addressed as the one who has 18 chapters. It is said, O Gita, the one with 18 chapters, I salute you. Gita as a destroyer of sorrow. The nectar of non-duality destroys the bhava, the samsara, completely. Bhava means a life of becoming with all of its problems and fear, a life of sorrow, bondage, birth, and death. The teaching is therefore the medicine of samsara, that by which the whole samsara is destroyed. The destroyer of samsara, the nectar of non-duality, the destroyer of samsara and the nectar of non-duality go together, and refer to Gītā as the mother who destroys the samsara by showering the nectar of non-duality. In the first verse, when we salute the mother Gītā by meditating upon her, by invoking her, we start our study. Also, we cannot think about the Gītā without thinking about Vyasa, Krishna, and Arjuna, called Partha in this verse. The second verse, therefore, is addressed by Vyasa, addressed to Vyasa. Back to you, Prashantji. Back to you, Prashantji.
Oh, somebody muted me by mistake. Somebody muted me. May I request, like, please, whoever, I think Namanji, please don't mute me. Is there anything that we'd like to discuss over here first? Or should we just proceed to the next verse?
In this case, Narayana and Arjuna are synonymous, right?
Pardon me?
In this whole description of this first verse, Narayana and Arjuna are synonymous.
Narayana and Krishna are synonymous.
Sorry, Krishna. Sorry, I meant Krishna. Right, yeah.
Yes.
So if I understand correctly here, Nara is Arjuna, whereas Narayana is seen as Krishna. So from the Upadhi level, they are not identical in that sense. Like, one cannot say Krishna and Arjuna would be identical, but from the level of Advaita, Nara and Narayana are the same. Am I correct, Sundarji?
Well, Nara is Jiva, Nara is Jagat, Narayana is Ishvara.
I see.
Nara, Narayana.
I see.
I mean, finally they are the same, but initially when we start out, there is that sense of duality in Arjuna, and that is clarified as we go along.
Okay, I see. Okay, so verse 2. Namostu te vyasa vishala buddhe fullaravinda yatapatra netra yena tvaya bharata taila purnaha prajvalito jnanamaya pradeepaha. O Vyasa, the one whose intellect is vast, whose eyes are clear as well as pleasing as a fully blossomed lotus, who lit the lamp of knowledge well by filling it with the oil of the Mahabharata, to you my salutations. The vastness of Vyasa's intellect. Shakespeare's intellect has been described as the platform of the world upon which this drama unfolds. He was able to write excellent characterizations for the stages of the world. Similarly, in this verse, Vyasa is described as the one whose intellect, whose knowledge is vast. He wrote thousands of verses, meaning that they simply flowed out of him. There is a story told that when Vyasa was planning to write the Mahabharata, he wanted to dictate the epic to a stenographer. Because there was no shorthand at the time, stenographers had to write very quickly in longhand. But no human being could take dictation from Vyasa because his mind was so quick and clear. He just reeled out the verses and no one could hope to keep up with him. So he asked Lord Ganesha to be his stenographer. Ganesha agreed on the condition that Vyasa would not stop dictating once he began. Vyasa agreed, but he also had a condition that Ganesha should understand everything he said in every sense. Agreeing to this condition, Ganesha pulled out one of his tusks, sharpened it, and with it wrote down Vyasa's Mahabharata on palm leaves. That is why Ganesha is portrayed as having only one tusk. So that's why he's also called Ekadantaha. In the Mahabharata, you will find, for the most part, simple descriptive verses. But every once in a while, there will be a verse which is all profound, a purple verse with different meanings. The reason Vyasa did this was so that he could have a breather. Because Ganesha understood so easily what was being written, Vyasa had to throw out a difficult verse whenever he wanted a break. If we count these verses, then we can find how many times he stopped. By the time Ganesha figured out the meaning, Vyasa had had his time out and was ready to begin again. This is Vyasa. The clarity of Vyasa's vision. Vyasa had beautiful big eyes. They are described in this verse as being like a fully blossomed lotus, eyes that were clear and pleasing. Vyasa is also compared here to a lamp that sheds light, the light of knowledge. This lamp is very well lit. He is, therefore, the one who lights the lamp of knowledge for us. The lamp that was lit by Vyasa is filled with the oil of the Mahabharata. This epic is considered to be the fifth Veda because it is true to the knowledge found in the Vedas. It seems to have been written for the sole purpose of lighting up this knowledge. When a small object is presented against a much larger background, its beauty is often more evident. The Mahabharata is like a canvas from whose vast background the Vedic knowledge emerges. Knowledge is the lamp, and the epic is its fuel. The fuel is for the lamp is not for the fuel. This verse, then, is paying tribute to Vyasa, who lit up the wisdom of the Vedas with the oil of the Mahabharata. So, unto you, Vyasa, who lit the lamp of knowledge with this epic fuel, my salutations. Shall we go to the next verse?
Sure. Yeah.
I think we take full circle again. Ishwar uncle, if you can read.
Okay. प्रपन्न पारिजाताय स्तोत्र वेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः. Unto the one who is the wish-fulfilling tree for those who have surrendered, who has a whip in one hand and the symbol of knowledge in the other, who milks the nectar that is the Gītā. Unto that Krishna, my salutations. Krishna as a wish-fulfilling tree. In the third verse, Lord Krishna is likened to a wish-fulfilling tree said to be found in heaven. Whatever you wish for while sitting under this tree immediately appears in front of you. Krishna is his wish-fulfilling tree for those who have surrendered unto him. To them he is the giver of everything. Krishna's control. In one hand, Krishna is holding the whip with which he drives the horses. His other hand assumes a gesture symbolizing knowledge. This means that Krishna does not give up the job of a charioteer when Arjuna wants to be taught. Right in the middle of the battlefield, when Arjuna wants to know, Krishna assumes the role of a teacher. Knowing full well that Arjuna would fight, Krishna did not drop the whip. Arjuna dropped his bow and arrows. Krishna kept the whip in his hand. He loosened the reins for the interim, for everything was under control. Unto the one who thus holds the symbol of knowledge, I offer my salutations. The symbol of knowledge. We offer our salutations not to the symbol of knowledge, but to the one who has this knowledge of non-duality, which cannot be negated. The symbol of knowledge, Jnana Mudra, is formed by joining the three fingers and circling them from the index finger. The index finger then joins with the thumb to form a circle. The index finger is also called the accusing finger, stands for the self, and usually joins the other three, representing the body, mind, and senses. By separating them out, we see that the body, mind, and senses are all Anatma, not I. One generally thinks that these are Atma, but they are not. They are all Anatma and are therefore to be understood as such. Whatever is not Anatma is the self and is revealed by the teaching as identical with the limitless Brahman represented by the thumb. Without the thumb, the fingers cannot grasp anything. It is important that the thumb be away from the fingers in order to do so. Therefore, the limitless Brahman is away from Similarly to the limitless Brahman is away from unattached to the body, mind and senses. At the same time, without the limitless Brahman, the body, mind and senses have no being, much less any function. Previously, we thought of ourselves as limited. The circle created by the index finger and thumb signifies that because we now have the knowledge of non-duality, the sense of limitation is gone. Just as a circle has no beginning and no end, we know ourselves to be limitless. Krishna, the giver of the nectar of Gītā. The Gītā is likened to milk, and Krishna is the one who provides the milk. From where does the milk come from? From the Shruti. Therefore, all the Vedas, the Upanishads, are likened to a cow, its milk being the Gītā. Unto Krishna, the one who gives out the nectar that is the Gītā, my salutations.
This is a very beautiful analogy. I like it over here.
I know.
The cows are likened to all the Upanishads, and Arjuna is the one who causes the milk to come out. Because just as the calf, I think Swamiji says in his talk that the cow, the udders simply flow with milk in presence of the calf. When the cow sees the calf, she's filled with compassion. And same way here, the Vedas are so compassionate that they have all this knowledge for us. And Krishna presents it, serves as a nimitta for this knowledge to be handed down to Arjuna and all of us as well. So it's very beautiful. And also the symbolism of the thumb and the fingers. This is actually there even in the Dakshinamurti Stotram. So, Chinmudra Mananda Rupam in the Dakshinamurti Dhyana Shloka. Without the Adhara here, which is the thumb, the fingers are pretty meaningless. One of the reasons we evolved into such complex beings is because, if you look at the difference between a human being and most other creatures, and even if you look at a chimpanzee, it is far more advanced in its intellect compared to other living beings, other animals in the forest, because its opposable thumb allowed it to grasp objects, allowed it to shape and mold the environment to its need. And if you have the four fingers without the thumb, you really cannot grasp anything. So here, Ishvara is the the adharam for all the jivas in this jagat. Smita ji, you want to do the fourth verse?
Okay.
Okay.
Sarvopanishado gavo dugdha gopal nandana partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gita mitam mahat. The Upanishads are the cow, the joy of cowherds. Krishna is one who milks. Arjuna is the calf, one whose mind is clear, is the one who drinks the milk, and the invaluable, timeless Gita is the milk. The first two verses praise the Gita and Vyasa. Because the Gita was taught to Arjuna by Lord Krishna, he is praised in the third verse as the teacher of the Gita, as Gitacharya. In the fourth verse, the nature of the Gita and the Lord are both mentioned. This is the subject matter of the Gita and it is being praised here. The Upanishads and the Gita as a cow and its milk. All the Upanishads are taken into account in the Gita. To present the Gita as the essence of the Upanishads, a popular imagery is used in this verse. Here the cow, a symbol of wealth and sanctity, is presented to represent all the Upanishads. Together they form the body of the cow. If the Upanishads are the cow, then its milk is the Gita. Krishna is the milkman. Who is the milkman? Nowadays, milking is all done by machines, but previously it was not easy to coax milk from a cow. The cow has its own moods and will not yield for just anyone. In this verse, Krishna is acknowledged as the best milkman. Born into the family of a milkman in a cowherd community, Krishna did not need to be taught how to milk a cow. Even from cows with empty udders, Krishna was able to get milk. Just as he could get milk from a cow, Krishna is able to milk the Upanishads. He knows exactly what the subject matter is. In fact, he is the subject matter. Since he knows the subject matter so well, he is the best one to milk this Upanishads. Milk is the sense of the cow, in that the many things a cow eats are all converted into milk. In the same manner, the Upanishad talks about a variety of topics, but it is all converted into milk of Vedanta Shastra, Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. These are the two most important topics in all the Upanishads. They form the milk, and there can be no better milkman than Krishna. Lord Krishna is Gopala Nandana, the joy of cowards. Lord Krishna is referred to here as Gopala Nandana, the joy of cowherds. The word go in Sanskrit not only means cow, it also means words and earth. The one who gives meaning to all these words is Lord Krishna. And the one who nourishes and sustains the earth with life is also Lord Krishna. In this verse, he is also referred to as the milkman, who is the joy of all the cowherds, because he is the nourisher and protector of cows. Arjuna, the cause of the Gītā. A cow produces milk for the sake of its calf. Here also there must be a calf to generate the milk, that is the Gītā. Arjuna, Partha is the Vatsa, the calf, because he is instrumental in drawing the Gītā out from Krishna. Just as the cow's milk is born for the sake of the calf, the Gītā was born for the sake of Arjuna. Since the calf cannot take all the milk produced by the cow, there is extra milk for the people. In the same way, Arjuna acquired milk of the Gītā, and others are also the partakers of it. Partakers of the Gītā. Unlike the milk from the cow, the milk of the Gītā is endless. The enjoyer of this milk is the one whose mind is clear and who has discrimination. The person who is capable of inquiry, Suddhi, is the partaker of this milk. The Gītā is likened to the milk because of it is nourishing to all. Milk is a complete food, a universal food. The message of the Gītā is also universal. It is applicable to everyone at any time or place because it deals with certain facts that do not change with time or place. The timelessness of the subject matter, that which does not change in the very subject matter of the Gītā, and is therefore described here as Amrita. There are many meanings for the word Amrita, but the one that is most relevant here is that which is not subject to death. Whatever is not bound by time does not undergo any change. That which immortalizes you, nourishes you, makes you happy, is considered to be Amrita. Anyone can take it. It is applicable to all. This timeless nectarine Gītā is described here as something that becomes more available the more it is given. The milk of the Gītā is knowledge. The more knowledge you give, the more you have, because as you keep giving, the knowledge becomes clearer to you.
Very beautiful. Any discussions here?
I want to bring about, I want to share with the people out here some of my experience with my daughter. My daughter, younger daughter Namita, she is a vegan, and she is also a promoter that we should not be drinking milk because milk is meant for carbs. But we're all used to drinking milks in various forms as vegetarians, which I'm assuming all of us are. So I have a conflict because she says, Dad, you should not be drinking milk because milk is only meant for carbs. And the way cows are treated, not just here, but probably in majority of the countries in the world, it is very inhuman. But I think Swami has given a nice explanation here about milk is primarily meant for the calf, but the excess milk is what is for the consumption of the human beings. I thought that was very fascinating, that I can share with her a different interpretation on why I can still continue to drink milk.
There is some truth to that, definitely, but I've actually done some research on this topic. Cows and other animals of the same category are milch animals, and they usually do give more milk than their calves need. But at the same time, the conditions that were prevalent during Krishna Bhagavan's time, when people treated the cow as a goddess, as the mother, it is not done today anymore. Today it's all factory farming, so cows are literally plugged into these milking machines, and their udders are like, you'd be surprised if you saw milk today. At least 4 to 5% of the volume capacity of milk, it is pus. But so if you, and they bleach the pus so it doesn't look red, and it doesn't, otherwise your milk would actually be pink color, because there's a lot of blood and there's a lot of pus that's also present in the milk we drink today. And this is very well established research. So from Namita's point of view, she is absolutely correct, because I myself am more or less a vegan. I stopped drinking milk quite a while back, like maybe 2 years ago, just because the milking industry is so pathetic over here. They are extremely cruel to the cows. The other thing is that I guess probably this is a bit off topic, but it's important, because uh, they impregnate the cows with bull semen, and then they do this using like these steel rods. So it's extremely painful to the cow, and once the calf is born, because the cow yields the maximum amount of milk when the cow is pregnant, but then you can't do much with the you don't really care for the calf anymore, right? So especially if it's a male calf, so then they sell this calf for meat, and then they separate the animal from the mother, which is again a very painful, traumatizing event. Then the cows are injected with these hormones and enzymes, which again increase the milk yielding capacity, but then it causes heart attacks, and it causes like brain hemorrhages, and it creates a lot of problem for the animal. So I think the situation and the conditions under which Krishna Bhagavan milked cows, and the way we are actually treating cows in this horrific manner today, is a bit incomparable in that sense. So forget giving excess milk to human beings. Here the calf is killed right off as soon as the calf is born, and it is sold for meat, because the meat of the calf is very tender, and it's also very cheap to sell it off. The other thing is that once the cow can no longer give milk, once the milk producing days are over, then the cow is also sold off as beef. But it's like low quality beef, because the cow is old now, but still it fetches some money. So the milk industry directly sustains the beef industry by subsidizing the cost. So actually, it's a very cruel nexus that has been created between the milk and the meat industry today.
Yep, very true. And yeah, that's very valid points, Prashantji.
I actually, I was also inspired by Namita and Joshika. So I had a conversation with them a couple of years ago, and I'm vegan. More or less, I had planned to become vegan, but then I heard more of their arguments. So
Right,
I'm
yeah.
inspired by your daughters.
I know. At least now I've switched over to organic milk, and organic milk, of course, there is a little bit more of a humane treatment of the cows.
But they still sell it for beef, that is for sure.
That is true, right? Yeah.
My mom and my dad, they drink milk. I don't, and I have fights with my mom every week because she tries to give me milk and I refuse. So, I just want to make one quick note. My computer, I don't know, for some reason it has to always start on Saturday. So in 17 minutes it's going to restart. So maybe we'll cut our session short by like 10-12 minutes. But 3 minutes before it restarts, I have to start saving some of my work. So we'll quickly do the next. Sundarji, you next, or Kamalji is your, no, Kamalji is on. Namanji, I don't think you can speak today. Can you speak? Okay, probably not.
I have a quick comment.
I can.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
Prashant, I have a Sundarji has passed on a lot of information in the group chat session. How do I? Is there a way I can, if the session ends, do I just cut and paste it and put it in a Word document or something for future reference?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. The way to do that is you Simply start from the bottom like this, and you just like drag all the way up to the top and copy paste it
Okay.
like this.
Yeah, the last link I posted is about a debate on vegetarianism. It's a must watch. If you haven't watched it, it's by Philip Wallen.
Okay. I'll
You should.
definitely.
This is just his speech. You should watch the whole debate, but just this 10-minute clip is enough to convince anybody of vegetarianism and against factory farming.
Yeah.
Correct. There was also a TEDx talk that was circulated recently by my wife Shobha. I forget her name in Germany.
The carnism, right? Carnism.
Yes, exactly right. Yep. That's it.
So, Prashantji, you have two options here. One is either you can reboot and then we can continue, or if you want to sustain it, or we can just continue here and then cut short.
If I reboot, the session will not get recorded after that.
Okay, so we'll start here.
Namanji, do you want to try? I think you never tried before, if you would like to.
Yes, I haven't tried anymore. Hello?
Yeah, you want to give it a
Is my
try?
mic working?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir, I would love to have a try.
Okay, sure. Are you comfortable reading the verse, or should I read it out for you?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
So, verse you should read.
Okay. Vasudevasutam devam kamsajanuravardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum. You can start here.
Okay. I salute Krishna, the Lord, the teacher of the world, son of Vasudeva, destroyer of Kamsa and Kanura, the greatest joy of Devaki.
Chanura. This is Chanura, but it's just the way it's spelled.
Chanura.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Sure.
Krishna as the teacher of the world. In the fifth verse, Krishna is presented as the teacher of the world, Jagat Guru. A teacher can only be a teacher of the world if he or she has a universal message. Also, one can teach only those people who want the subject matter he or she is teaching. For instance, only those who are interested in calculus will go to a teacher of calculus. A universal message is relevant to everyone, everywhere, even though not everyone will be interested in it. Here the message of Gītā can be given to anyone because it is relevant to everyone. Krishna is not considered to be a teacher merely because he is accepted as such, but acceptable to all. This we must know. It is a message that is extremely valuable to everyone. Without it, one's life is a search that never comes to an end. This message, which Krishna is giving here in Gita, is what makes him a Jagat Guru.
Yeah, would you like to continue?
Sir, I can do.
Sure, please. Call me Prashant.
Okay, sir. Krishna as a person for purpose of meditation. As a teacher of world, Krishna is looked upon as a person with certain qualities or attribute, but only for the purpose of meditation, when that which is being discussed is free from all attribute. It is a matter of knowledge. It is something to be understood. But when a particular form with a set of attribute is being talked about, such as Krishna as a person, it is purely for the purpose of meditation. In this work, in this verse, some historical facts are given about Krishna to create a figure of meditation. He is described as the son of Vasudeva, Vasudeva Sutta, and at the same time he is Lord, Dev, father of all, including Vasudeva. Obviously, he is not an ordinary son. If he were, we would not meditate upon him.
Very nice. You can complete this full verse if you like.
Oh, okay. Krishna as the destroyer of evil. Krishna is also referred to here as the destroyer of evil. We should know that there is no evil beyond our mind, and that there is no such thing as evil mind. There is only wrong thinking that need to be corrected. Krishna, as the Lord, is the chastiser of wrongdoers. By giving them what they deserve, he removes this evil of incorrect thinking. Krishna as the source of happiness. Krishna is the greatest joy of his mother Devaki. He is the most attractive person
Sorry, your voice went off.
pleases you, attracts you because it makes you happy.
Is everybody else able to hear, or is it just me?
Same here.
Okay, I think Namanji, the last paragraph we couldn't hear you, so I'll just read it out for you. Krishna is the greatest joy of his mother, Devaki. He is the most attractive, the one who is the source of all happiness. Anything that attracts Karshati is Krishna. Anything that attracts is happiness. What pleases you attracts you because it makes you happy. This is why the source of happiness is the focus of complete attraction. Oh, Krishna, teacher of the world, whose message is universal, I salute you.
Good.
Sundarji, were you next?
Yes, but you said 17 minutes, right? So how much more time do we have?
This 10 minutes. Good. I just got a notification. Um, it's
10
going to
more
show,
minutes?
but let's hit for 5.
Okay.
Okay.
भीष्मद्रोण तथा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः. With Bhishma and Drona as its bank, Jayadratha as its water, Gandhara, that is Shakuni, as the blue lily, Shalya as the shark, Kripa as the speed of the water's flow or the current, Karna as its breakers, Ashwatthama and Vikarna as the killer whales, and Duryodhana as the whirlpool. The river of battle is indeed crossed by the Pandavas because the boatman is Sri Krishna. The Pandavas, Pandu's sons, are 5 in number. The oldest was Yudhishthira, also called Dharmaputra. The second was Bhima. Arjuna, who appears in the Gītā, is the third son. The fourth and fifth are Nakula and Sahadeva. The river of battle. It is said that the Pandavas crossed the river of battle, Rana Nadi, which is described poetically in this verse. Every river must have 2 banks within which the water flows. Without the banks, there would be no river at all. Bhishma and Drona are the 2 banks of this river of battle. Bhishma and Drona. Bhishma, Arjuna's grandfather, was the eldest in the family and the man of great vows. He was considered to be invincible, even though he was an old man. Bhishma was such a great warrior that he never lost a battle. Only trickery could destroy him. Drona was the greatest archer, the guru who taught archery to Arjuna and his brothers, as well as to his cousins. Duryodhana. Both Bhishma and Drona were in Duryodhana's ranks against the Pandavas. Duryodhana took care of them during the 13 years that the Pandavas were in exile. He pampered them so much that they felt obliged to him. He made sure they felt obliged. Bhishma and Drona were his strength. Because of them, he thought he could win the war. He had one more important ally, Karna. Therefore, these three people were the indirect causes of this war. Without them, Duryodhana would definitely not have embarked upon it. In a river, there are always whirlpools. And in this verse, Duryodhana is likened to a whirlpool because anyone who went near him got sucked in. Once caught in a whirlpool, it is very difficult to get out. They all got sucked into this battle. Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, his uncle, all of them got sucked in. Even though they were all very kind to the Pandavas, Duryodhana was able to drag them into his grip because he was such a scheming person. Duryodhana's other allies. Although Bhishma and Drona were the banks of the river of battle, the river would have been empty if Jayadratha and his huge army had not been there. Jayadratha provided the manpower and was there for the water. There are areas in the river where the water collects and remains. This is where the blue lilies grow, making the river not only beautiful but difficult to move through because of their entangling stalks. The prince of Gandhara, Shakuni, is referred here to as blue lily. The river being described was one that has sharks in it. Shalya is likened to a shark and is called as the great grabber. He was Karna's charioteer and was considered to be the greatest driver. A charioteer is very important in a battle. He must not only have great expertise in driving, but also encourage the warrior whose chariot he is driving. But during the battle with the Pandavas, Shalya discouraged Karna as much as he could because of a promise he had made earlier with the Pandavas. The current in this river was very fast. Its speed was provided by Kripa. Because of Karna, it was full of breakers. Ashwatthama, the son of Drona and the great archer, was a great archer and also a killer. Vikarna was one of the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. The two, Ashwatthama and Vikarna, were the youngest and are described as killer whales. Makara. Crossing the river of battle. To cross such a terrible river is not easy. It is only possible by a boat. Swimming across is impossible because of all the whales, whirlpool and breakers. Even a boat may not make it. There is, however, a way. If Krishna is your boatman, you can cross this river of samsara. We too face this various problems mentioned here. We have whirlpool problems, breaker problems, whale problems, credit card problems, etc. If Krishna is the boatman, you will certainly make it.
Beautiful.
Sorry, got emotional there.
It's very beautiful.
Back to you.
So we'll probably start with the 7th verse from next week. Sorry, I have to cut this short today. Technical difficulties. I should try to manage this better. So let's just say a Dhyana Shloka and then we'll close up for today. Or not the Dhyana Shloka, but just Shanti Mantra. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Namaste.